Please evacuate immediately. There have been a tsunami issue that have been already. The tsunami issues have been already issued, and tsunami warning have been already issued. Therefore, please evacuate immediately. Around 6:49 at the Onahama port, we have observed a tsunami of 60 centimeters. We have already observed tsunami at the Onahama 60 centimeters at 6:49. As you can see, there have been a backwash of the sea at the Onahama. After this backwash of the rip current, there will be bigger waves to come. Well, because in the Great East Japan earthquake, at the beginning, they have observed some smaller tsunami. However, after that, we had greater tsunami. After that, therefore, please evacuate immediately. Please evacuate immediately. At 6:49 in the Onahama port of Fukushima Prefecture, 60 centimeters of tsunami have been already observed. Therefore, please evacuate immediately. And according to the authority, at 6:06 at Onahama port, they had observed the tsunami backwash, and it is expected that tsunami would reach 3 meters of height. Therefore, please evacuate immediately. Please evacuate right away. And at Onahama port at 6:49, 60 centimeter wave tsunami had been observed. About 5 minutes ago, we had observed the sea to go out from the port.
A short while ago, we have observed what we believe could be a rip current or a backwash. This could be an indication that water may rush ashore after this. At 6:49 a.m., a 60-centimeter tsunami was observed in Onahama Port in Iwaki City, Fukushima Prefecture, and tsunami waves could have reached the shorelines in other areas as well. In Iwate, Miyagi, and Ibaraki, Chiba, there are tsunami alerts issued, and already tsunami could have reached these areas. As of 6:49, in Onahama Port of Iwaki City, Fukushima Prefecture, a 60-centimeter tsunami has been observed, and higher tsunami waves could reach other shorelines. And the height of the tsunami could become higher as the water repeatedly washes ashore. During the Great East Japan earthquake, the initial tsunami was only several dozen of centimeters high. However, after that, a very high tsunami reached the shores.
Once again, a magnitude 7.3 earthquake struck Fukushima Prefecture on Tuesday morning local time. Japan's meteorological agency says it observed a 60-centimeter tsunami at the port of Onahama, coastal Fukushima Prefecture at 6:49 a.m. Japan time. Japan's meteorological agency has issued a tsunami warning for the coastal areas of Fukushima. You're looking at live video of Onahama Port in Fukushima. The estimated height of a tsunami is 3 meters. They have also issued a tsunami advisory for prefectures in northeastern and eastern Japan. They expect the tsunami height to reach 1 meter in those areas. Anyone in those areas should listen to local authorities and disaster management officials for information and instructions. The JMA is calling on people in the area where the tsunami warning is issued to leave coastal areas or riversides immediately. The agency is telling them to evacuate to a safer place, such as high ground or an evacuation building. Tsunami will hit repeatedly. Do not leave evacuation areas until the warning is cleared. We'll bring you more details as they come in. Tokyo Electric Power Company officials say there are no irregularities at any of their reactors at Fukushima Daiichi. They also say there's been no change in radiation levels around the plant. Once again, a magnitude 7.3 earthquake struck Fukushima Prefecture on Tuesday morning local time. The Japan Meteorological Agency has issued a tsunami warning for coastal areas of Fukushima. The estimated height is 3 meters. They have also issued a tsunami advisory for prefectures in northeastern and eastern Japan. They expect the tsunami height to reach 1 meter in those areas. Anyone in those areas should listen to local authorities and disaster management officials for information and instructions. The JMA is calling on people in the area where the tsunami warning is issued to leave coastal areas or riversides immediately. The agency is telling them to evacuate to a safer place, such as high ground or an evacuation building. Tsunami will hit repeatedly. Do not leave evacuation areas until the warning is cleared. We'll bring you more details as they come in. We now go back to our simultaneous interpretation of our domestic broadcast.
実際に津波が観測されています。津波が来ています。逃げてください。
The tsunami waves are arriving along the shorelines, so please make sure that you evacuate to higher grounds and move away from the shoreline as far as possible. This is Onahama Port in Iwaki City, Fukushima Prefecture. At 6:49 a.m., a 60-centimeter tsunami was observed here, and a higher wave may approach the shoreline. And already, tsunami waves could have reached other areas along the Pacific coast. The estimated tsunami height is 3 meters, but it could be higher. As of 6:49 in Iwaki City, Fukushima Prefecture, a 60-centimeter tsunami wave was observed. Now we will speak to our reporter, Mr. Nakamaru. We are now observing Onahama Port in Fukushima, and we see water moving from the Pacific Ocean side to the land side. Well, and a tsunami has been observed offshore, so already there has been tsunami. And even at the port, we are seeing changes in the tide level. So we have to make sure that people who have not evacuated yet do move to higher grounds. And the tsunami so far was just 60 centimeters, but it could become higher. Yes, the tsunami observed offshore compared to tsunami observed on land is quite low. Therefore, when the water reaches the shore, it can become higher.
So therefore, in the port area and also along the sea line, first thing is please evacuate immediately. And just before 7 o'clock, we have observed the backwash. What about this backwash? So because this relates to the mechanism of the earthquake, starting from the backwash, well, because after that there will be a sea current coming to the port. Therefore, even if you have seen the backwash, there is a concern and there is a fear that tsunami will reach the sea line. And therefore, please evacuate to the higher ground. And already tsunami issues and also tsunami warning and also the tsunami advisories have been already issued. And it is really chilly and also it is raining. And as a condition for evacuation, it is very hard to evacuate. However, if you have gone to the higher ground and if you are in the higher ground right now, please stay there until the tsunami warning will be released. So in the past, there have been some people who went back to their homes before the tsunami warning have been eliminated, and therefore there were some people who have lost their lives because of this action. And this is a live shot of Iwaki's Onahama port. We are seeing the sea current moving. We are seeing the tidal wave coming to the port. So this is because of the changes of the sea level. So therefore, we are seeing these changes. So because it will be a repetition of backwash, and also the sea current will come to the port area. And in the later time, there will be a concern that we are going to observe much higher tsunami. So never go to the seaside. So you can get the information through the radio and also through the OneSec devices. And please utilize those devices in order to collect the information. As you can see on the screen, and in the Kamitsushi Oki, we have observed tsunami at the offshore. So what is this offshore tsunami? So because we have already put some monitoring posts in order to check the waves of tsunami, therefore there have been observance of tsunami in those areas, and therefore it is sure that we are going to see tsunami coming along the sea line.
And please do not be complacent and think it is safe, because the tsunami height that we have been informing about is low. When the tsunami waves reaches the shore repeatedly, it may become higher and higher. And already in Onahama, as of 6:49, a 60-centimeter tsunami has been observed, and a higher tsunami wave may wash ashore, because the tsunami waves may come repeatedly, and with every repetition, the tsunami may become higher, and depending on the geological features, the tsunami waves may become higher than expected. And so even if the tsunami offshore seems very low, once the water reaches the land area, it may become quite a high tsunami. Therefore, when the water reaches the shore, in other areas it may become higher, and the tsunami may repeatedly wash ashore. And every time it may become higher. Therefore, please make sure that you evacuate, stay away from the shorelines. And we are seeing live footage from Onahama Port, Iwaki City, Fukushima Prefecture. And from the right side to the left side, that's from the land side to the ocean side, we see water moving, which means that the tide level drops once, which may be an indication of a higher tsunami wave reaching ashore after this. And tsunami waves can wash ashore repeatedly. And now about the nuclear power plants. The TEPCO says that at Fukushima Daiichi and Fukushima Daini nuclear power plants, the external power source and also the water that is used to cool the spent fuel pool has not been affected so far by the earthquake. And now the staff are just watching closely to cite any abnormalities if there are. Once again, TEPCO says that at Fukushima Daiichi and Fukushima Daini nuclear power plants, the external power sources, as well as the water supply used to cool the spent fuel pool, has not been affected by the recent earthquake, but they are making sure that they observe carefully. And all the staff have evacuated to higher grounds after the tsunami warning has been issued. And along the Pacific coast of Fukushima, Prefecture, a tsunami warning has been issued, and as of 6:49, a 60-centimeter tsunami washed ashore Onahama Port.
And this is a live shot of Chiba Prefecture Choshi area. So this is a live shot of the port of Choshi in Chiba Prefecture. We are not so in the Kujukuri area and also in the Sotobo areas, there have been a tsunami advisory that have been already issued. And along the Fukushima Prefecture, there have been tsunami warnings that have been issued. So I am talking with Mr. Nakamaru. So some of the evacuation tips that we need to observe. So there have been observances of tsunamis in Soma Port, 19 centimeters of tsunami at 7:06, 19 centimeters of tsunami at Soma Port, and in Ibaragi Prefecture, Oarai Port, tsunami of 50 centimeters, in Katsura, 30 centimeters of tsunami at 7:03. 60 centimeters of tsunami has been already observed in Onahama Prefecture, 6:49. In Soma, tsunami of 19 centimeters. Oarai Ports, 50 centimeter tsunami. Katsura, 30 centimeters tsunami. And please evacuate immediately. And tsunami will come repeatedly. And tsunami will come to the inland. Therefore, please evacuate right away. Please evacuate immediately to the higher ground, and if you cannot find the higher ground, please go up the higher buildings. At 7:06 in Soma Port, 90 centimeters of tsunami has been observed, and this is really a powerful tsunami of 90 centimeters. Well, because tsunami is a kind of a collected item of the water, therefore it has such a strong destroying power. So a tsunami of nearly 1 meter has such a strength. Therefore, the first thing is to evacuate. So because there are two monitoring posts in two places in Fukushima Prefecture, therefore in Soma and also in southern part in Onahama, around 60 centimeters to 90 centimeters tsunami, that is tsunamis of around 1 meter, and also in Ibaragi Prefecture we are seeing out tsunamis. Therefore, the first thing is to evacuate. And also in Chiba area, tsunami has been observed. Therefore, if there is any tsunami warnings that have been issued, please evacuate right now.
TEPCO says that at the Fukushima Daini nuclear power plant, the number 3 reactor, the water cooling system seems to have stopped. TEPCO officials are trying to confirm the situation. In this, more than 2,500 spent fuel rods are being kept at the spent fuel pool in Fukushima Daini nuclear power plant. The water cooling system seemed to have stopped at the Fukushima Daini nuclear power plant, and officials are trying to confirm the situation. 2,544 fuel rods are being kept at the spent fuel pool in the third reactor of Fukushima Daini. In Soma Port, a 90-centimeter tsunami has been observed at 7:06. In Onahama Port at 6:49, a 60-centimeter tsunami has been observed. In Oarai in Ibaraki Prefecture, 50-centimeter tsunami was observed, and in Katsura of Chiba Prefecture, 30-centimeter tsunami has been observed. The tsunami waves could repeatedly approach the shore, and the tsunami height could become higher as they repeatedly wash ashore. So please make sure that you evacuate to higher ground. Now already, tsunami waves have been observed, so people must evacuate to high grounds. Yes, and we are hearing information about the tsunami height. However, these are heights observed at the observation points. The actual tsunami height, when it reaches the shore, could be quite higher. And already the tsunami height is close to a meter. Therefore, please understand that this is a very serious situation and evacuate to high grounds. And the power could be powerful enough to wash people away. Yes. The tsunami waves are really powerful, and it will rush ashore very speedily. If you are caught in the tsunami wave, you may be washed away. Therefore, just make sure that you move away to high grounds and make sure that you are safe and remain there until the tsunami warnings or alerts have been lifted. And it is quite chilly and it may be very difficult, but we do hope that you keep warm. Please call upon your neighbors and remain safe. Please remain safe.
Once again, a magnitude 7.3 earthquake struck Fukushima Prefecture on Tuesday morning local time. The Japan Meteorological Agency has issued a tsunami warning for the coastal areas of Fukushima. The estimated height is 3 meters. They have also issued a tsunami advisory for prefectures in northeastern and eastern Japan. They expect the tsunami height to reach 1 meter in those areas. Anyone in those areas should listen to local authorities and disaster management officials for information and instructions. The JMA is calling on people in the area where the tsunami warning is issued to leave coastal areas or riversides immediately. The agency is telling them to evacuate to a safer place, such as high ground or an evacuation building. You are looking at video of when the earthquake struck at... Or rather, this is a live shot of Oarai Port in Ibaraki Prefecture. That is the situation there at Oarai Port in Ibaraki Prefecture. The agency is telling people to evacuate to a safer place, such as high ground or an evacuation building. Tsunami will hit repeatedly. Do not leave evacuation areas until the warning is cleared. We'll bring you the latest details as they come in. Once again, a magnitude 7.3 earthquake struck Fukushima Prefecture on Tuesday morning local time. The Japan Meteorological Agency has issued a tsunami warning for the coastal areas of Fukushima. The estimated height is 3 meters. Right now, you are looking at a live view of Oarai Port in Ibaraki Prefecture. The Meteorological Agency has also issued a tsunami advisory for prefectures in northeastern and eastern Japan. They expect the tsunami height to reach 1 meter in those areas. Anyone in those areas should listen to local authorities and disaster management officials for information and instructions. The JMA is calling on people in the area where the tsunami warning is issued to leave coastal areas or riversides immediately. The agency is telling them to evacuate to a safer place, such as high ground or an evacuation building. Do not leave evacuation areas until the warning is cleared. We'll bring you the latest details as they come in. Here we have video of when the earthquake struck at Onahama Port. The Meteorological Agency says it observed a 60-centimeter tsunami at that port of Onohama at 6:49 a.m. Japan time. Fukushima Prefecture says nuclear plant operator TEPCO reported that it observed a tsunami at 6:34 a.m. Japan time. The prefectural office has no details of damage or the height of the wave yet. We now go back to our simultaneous interpretation of our domestic broadcast.
So from there have been backwash and also there have been changes of the sea current. So it seems this is a backwash. Therefore, there is a concern that tsunami might hit this area. In Onahama Port, we have observed 60 centimeters of tsunami at 6:49. And information of Prime Minister Abe held the press conference in Lima. I have just heard that we have observed strong earthquake off Fukushima and the tsunami warning have been issued to Japanese people. I would like to I have also informed and I have made the order to provide necessary information to the Japanese public and also to gather the information about any kind of injuries or damages. And we are going to devote ourselves in order to provide the support for the efforts for the rescue. And also to Mr. Suga, the Cabinet Secretary, I had ordered to make appropriate measures to this earthquake. And we are going to have a close collaboration and we are going to make appropriate measures in order to cope with this disaster. Mr. Suga, Cabinet Secretary, is going to hold a press conference around 7:30. So from 7:30, Mr. Suga is going to hold the press conference. The observed tsunamis are as follows. In Soma Port, 706, 19 centimeters of tsunami. In Onahama Port, 60 centimeters of tsunami at 6:49. Oarai Port, 50 centimeters of tsunami at 7:08. In Katsura, 30 centimeters. In Ishimaki, 30 centimeters, 7:06 and 7:04 relatively. In Ohunato Port, 30 centimeters of tsunami had been observed at 7:08. And tsunami will come repeatedly. New information and the expected height of tsunami had been revised upward. Tsunami is going to come, therefore please evacuate immediately. There have been additional tsunami warning in Chiba Prefecture, in Uchibo area, and also in Izu Islands. Tsunami warning have been already issued. The expected tsunami height is around 1 meter. There is additional issuance of tsunami warnings in Chiba and also in Izu area. Fukushima Prefecture, in Fukushima Prefecture, we expect tsunami had already arrived. Additional information about tsunami warnings. In Chiba Prefecture in Uchibo area, tsunami issues have been warned. Warning have been issued in Fukushima, Iwate, Miyagi, Ibaragi, in Chiba Prefecture, Kujukuri, and there are tsunami warnings that have been issued along the seaside of Fukushima Prefecture. To 68,000 who are the residents of the Fukushima Prefecture have been already announced to evacuate, and they have been ordered to evacuate. And also in the Kashima Park and also in the Memorial Hall of the this local area, there are around 70 people coming. And in Fukushima port, 90 centimeters of tsunami, and also in other areas, we have observed 60 centimeters of tsunami in Onahama port. Please remember that Great East Japan earthquake. Please evacuate immediately to high grounds.
During the Great East Japan earthquake, people have been swallowed by the tsunami waves because they have returned to their homes after evacuating once. So please do not return until the warnings or alerts have been released. This is Owarai town in Ibaraki Prefecture. We are now showing live footage from the town. As of 7:08, a 50-centimeter tsunami wave was observed at this port. And we continue to speak to our desk. Can we read anything from the screen here? Well, we do not see any tidal level changes, but at the port, a 50-centimeter tsunami was observed, meaning that water has washed ashore. Therefore, please make sure that you remain evacuated on higher grounds, and please do not try to return to the shoreline. A little after 7, a 50-centimeter tsunami was observed at Owarai port, and 50 centimeters may seem rather low. However, the first wave of tsunami was just several tens of centimeters high, and already tsunami waves are arriving along the shore, and it could become very dangerous. So the tsunami height, just because it seems like a low tsunami, please do not think it's safe. Make sure that you evacuate and do not return to low ground until the warnings or alerts have been lifted. And the Chief Cabinet Secretary will be holding a news conference soon. As of 7:08 in Owarai port, a 50-centimeter tsunami wave has been observed, and as of 6:49, a 60-centimeter tsunami has been observed in Onahama port. And we are hearing about tsunamis reaching the shorelines in many areas. Please do not go close to the shore, and please remain evacuated on high grounds. And we hear sirens ringing at Onahama Port, Iwaki City, Fukushima Prefecture. We can see the water moving back and forth. And a new information in Tateyama City, Chiba Prefecture, as of 7:13, a 30-centimeter tsunami was observed, and also in Ayukawa of Ishinomaki at 7:20, a 30-centimeter tsunami was observed. It seems that the water level is rising from 30 centimeters. So it shows the red arrow indicates that the tide level is rising from 30 centimeters. So please make sure that you have evacuated. And so in Ayukawa of Ishinomaki, the tide level is rising. And as of 7:13 in Tateyama Chiba Prefecture, a 30-centimeter tsunami wave was observed. And from the nuclear power plant, at the third reactor of Fukushima Daini, the water cooling system has stopped, and water circulating to cool the fuel pool has stopped. However, the water within the spent fuel pool is enough to keep the spent fuels cool. So the water in the pool is enough to keep the spent fuels cool, and therefore it is not going to create a dangerous situation immediately. At the Fukushima Daini nuclear power plant, in the third reactor, the water cooling system that supplies water to the spent nuclear fuel pool has stopped. However, the water in the pool is currently enough to keep the fuel cold, and So there is no immediate danger at the nuclear power plant. TEPCO says that the spent fuel pool at the Fukushima Daini third reactor, the water system that supplies cooling water has stopped. Right now, the water temperature is 27 degrees, and the temperature will not rise to dangerous levels for a while. And in Yaene and Hachijojima Island, a 30-centimeter tsunami wave was observed. And in Tateyama, Chiba Prefecture, as of 7:13, a 30-centimeter wave was observed.
And in Ishinomaki, Ayukawa, we have observed tsunami of 30 centimeters at 7:20. However, as you can see the red arrow, the tsunami's height will go up. And also in Hachijojima's Yaende, 30 centimeters tsunami has been already observed. And we'd like to talk with Mr. Honda, who is near the Ishinomaki. Mr. Honma, are you ready? So we are giving you the information of the tsunamis in Soba Port. 19 centimeters of tsunami at 7:06. Onahama Port, 60 centimeters of tsunami at 6:49. 50 centimeters of tsunami at Oarai at 7:08 in Katsura. 30 centimeters of tsunami at 7:03. 30 centimeters of tsunami in Yohunato around 7:08 in Tateyama, Chiba Prefecture, 7:13. However, in Ishinomaki, Ayukawa, 30 centimeters of tsunami has been observed at 7:20. However, the red arrow indicates that tsunami height will go up. And also in Yaene of Hachijojima, the 30 centimeters tsunami have been observed. Tsunami will come repeatedly. And also, we would like to warn sometimes the second and also the third waves of tsunami will likely to become higher than the first wave. And about the Kesennuma in Miyagi Prefecture, we are going to have a report from the helicopter. And this is the Kesennuma city in the Miyagi Prefecture. As you can see, this is the Kesennuma port. And we would like to take a look at how the sea is from above. We are not observing any changes. And before arriving at this place, the roads were serving normally because the traffic lights were on and also the lights were already on. And from above, we are not seeing any changes. Ogiwara-san? So the area that we are observing, because they are still having a construction after the Great East Japan earthquake. Yes, as you can see, there are some. As you can see, there are some materials in order to provide protection from the waves. Is there any changes in the city areas? And this area, as you can see, the reconstruction work is going on. So on the other hand, far away from the sea, it seems that the cars are running as a normal day. And also, we are not seeing any kind of abnormality in the traffic lights. So, can we take a look at how the sea... So, in Miyagi Prefecture, the tsunami warning has been issued. Yes, on the right-hand side. So you are flying above the Miyagi Kesennuma port. So you are not seeing these kind of countering for the shells. But in Ishinomaki area, the tsunami has been observed. Therefore, there is a concern that tsunami might reach Kesenuma area. Therefore, you need to be very cautious, isn't it? Yes. So, from above of Kesenuma port, we have not seen any big wave coming to Kesenuma port. However, we need to be very cautious. If there is any change, please inform us. This is a live shot of Kesenuma City of Miyagi Prefecture, where the tsunami warning has been issued. There has been observance of tsunamis in local areas. So we are going to have the press conference by Mr. Suga.
Today at around 5:59 off the coast of Fukushima, a strong earthquake hit the area,